Hi everyone. So this is episode 4 of starting a flower garden from seed. So if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. You're going to want to follow along. It's not too late. We've already picked out the flowers that we're going to grow in the garden. We already mixed our seed starting mix. We put together the grow area, the indoor grow area, and now today it starts, and we're going to start planting some seeds. It's the last week of February, so now's the time to begin with certain flowers, and with a few of the flowers that I grow in the garden. And I think I talked about it in the first part of this video series on growing flowers from seed, that I grow quite a few flowers. We probably have enough seeds here if they were all to germinate, which they all won't. A couple thousand plants. So let me show you how I do this. And I'm not going to bore you because there's going to be a lot of flats that I'm going to be using to start all these seeds in, but I'll do a couple and show you how I do it. Here's all my seed packets, and there is my journal, and the journal is just a book that I keep on the garden for this year. You see, it says Flower Garden 2021, and I keep notes on everything I do. I keep track of all the flowers that I plant from start to finish, all the way through September, October. I will keep track of them, and I do that just so I can learn what worked, what didn't work, what I like, what I don't like. I'll keep track of where I plant them. So maybe the following year I may not plant them in the same area of the garden. But it's a nice thing to refer back to from year to year. What I've done on each of the seed packs is, when I get them in the mail, I'll sort them all out, and I'll pencil in on each package the grow time, from the time that the seed is planted to when you can plant them outside. So this particular seed, this Vinca seed, which is a Core Cascade mix hybrid, this seed should be started 12 to 15 weeks before your last frost, or before planting them outside. So I'm starting them before I plant them outside. My last frost date is March 31st. Now, I've had frost all the way into May where I'm at. I'm in zone 7B. So I don't really go by frost date. I go by my plant date, which is normally the first week of May. I'll start planting these flowers out in the garden. So right now it's the last week of February, so for the Vinca I want to start these now. I could have started them a few weeks ago. I held off a little bit. I still have plenty of time. I have started these in the middle of March and still had success with them. These Vinca, they'll get planted today. Then we have the Petunia, and they're 10 weeks sow time, so we'll do them today. And I have the geraniums, they're 10 weeks. The Rudbeckia, they're 10 weeks. Marigolds are 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. I usually go with the 8 weeks. The zinnias are 6 to 8 weeks. So I still have some time to do these. I probably won't start these until the middle of March. Here's a sweet pepper plant for my vegetable garden, 6 to 8 weeks. The Cardinal Climber, 6 to 8 weeks. So I could do this now, the last week of February. I've never grown this before, so I'm not quite sure exactly how this is going to work out, this particular plant, but I'll go by what the grow time is on it. I'll wait till the middle of March before I sow these seeds. The moss rose, the portulaca, they're 6 to 8 weeks, so I'll wait on these till the middle of March. Coleus is the same, 6 to 8 weeks, so I'll wait till the middle of March. I grow flowering kale, but these are a fall or winter type of plant. So you see, I wrote on that seed pack end of July. So I won't start these until the end of July because I won't plant them out in the garden until probably October. And then I have my tomato plants, and I just penciled in there second week of March. We'll start the tomato plants. And pickling cucumbers I grow, and they're 3 to 4 weeks. I may wait till the last week of March to start these. So here's my stack of 1021 flats, which I'll start the seeds in. I purchase these from the same place I get the seeds from. Usually if I need them for a particular year, I'll order them at the same time that I order my seeds. Here's just a mixing pail I use. It's just a standard plastic mixing pail for mixing cement or anything else you need to mix that you can get at one of the big home improvement box stores. And I'll use this to shovel my seed starting mix into, and then I'll mix the perlite in with the seed starting mix when I have some shoveled into here. So I have 2 of the cans here. I got that one that's half full and one that's full with the seed starting mix, and I'll just take it and shovel it in to the mixing pan here. After I mix the perlite in, I take it and I'll put it into the flat, and as I'm putting it into the flat, I'll wet it. I'll get it as wet as I can, and then we'll plant some seeds in it. So what I like to do is I'll take the flats that I'm going to start my seed in, and I mark them all. So I'll just take a piece of tape. You can see this one's for Vinca Cascade, which is the Vinca that will cascade or trail, and I use just regular painter's tape. You could use any kind of masking tape and just use a Sharpie and just write the name of the flower and the particular flower as well, because I'll grow different varieties. I have 2 different varieties of Vinca I grow. This one's a Cascade, and the other one is just a regular mounding type of plant that is a Vinca. Here I have 7 flats set up for this same flower, the Vinca Cascade. I have 1,500 seeds, so I think I'm going to plant 200 seeds in each one. Now, I know I'm going to get a lot of comments because I'm planting 200 seeds in one of these flats, but this works for me. I let them grow. They'll get a few stems on there, maybe 4 sets of leaves, and then I'll plant them into individual cells. So remember, I'm working with a small space, so I need to keep the growing as compact as I can because I'm growing in a small space. But this is just an example of how you can grow a lot of flowers in a small area. I'll try and get these to the point where I won't transplant them into individual cells until I'm ready to set them outside for a few weeks before planting, and that'll be in a future video. So let me get started here with the seed starting mix. So here we'll shovel in some of our seed starting mix. And we'll take some perlite, mix that in. I'll just mix it up with my hands. Don't really need a shovel or anything like that. It's just easier to mix it by hand. And it's easier to mix the perlite at this point than it is to mix it when you're doing the mixing of the seed starting mix. Okay, the perlite's mixed in. So now I'll take one of my flats or trays and just put some of this seed starting mix, spread it around. I usually fill it maybe 3/4 of the way. So this is the peat moss, sand, and compost that I mixed together on the concrete in the second part of this video series on starting flowers from seed. So that's pretty good there. Now I'll take a watering can and I'll wet this down really good. I like to start with a real wet seed starting mix in the beginning. It just makes it easier for watering later on with a garden sprayer or pump sprayer. And the nice thing about using peat moss in the starting mix is it holds the moisture. Okay, there we go. So I have 6 more to go for the vinca, the cascading vinca. So let me do that and get them ready for the seed. Alright, there's our 7 trays for the Vinca Cascade for the 1500 seeds. So to start these seeds, the Vinca seeds are very tiny, and they're a little difficult to like spread around. So I have this little tool here. So I purchased it from the same place that I order my seeds from a few years ago, and I really like using this for the small seeds. It makes it easier to see the seed being spread out across the flat. Now those numbers on the top, they indicate the size of the hole, and usually for the Vinca seeds I set it on a number 2. The number 1 hole's just a little bit too small, and the number 2 works well. So the lid on that comes off, and I'll just open up the seed pack and pour the seeds in. And when I do that, you'll see what I'm talking about with Vinca seeds, and how tiny they are and how hard they are to handle. You can sprinkle them out, you know, by hand or in some kind of small container. I've done that over the years, but after I purchased this little thing for a couple dollars, I use this for all the small seeds. So I'll take the lid off of my little seed spreader container, whatever you want to call it. So I usually take the seed pack and maybe bang on it a little bit, get all the seed down to the bottom of the package, and we'll just cut the top off. We can open this up. And these Vinca seeds, like I said, are really tiny. We'll dump the whole packet. And always check the seed pack for anything that might be down in one of the corners. Alright, this one's empty. That's 100 seeds. Second pack we'll put in here. Make sure nothing's in the corner. There's a couple stuck there. Don't want to waste any seeds. You don't have to. One more there. There it goes. Alright. So a couple of them came down. Get them back in there. Put the lid back on. We'll set this to the number 2 setting, and the seed should flow out of this nice. So I'll just take it and I'll shake it a little bit, and the seeds will come out. And I just keep moving it around until the container is empty. Go, there's one. Okay. There's 600 seeds planted between the three of them. Now after I put the seeds in, this is water. I only use water in this one, so I would suggest that you just get a container strictly for water. You don't want to be using anything that could have been contaminated with any kind of weed killer or fertilizer or even like a Miracle-Gro. You don't need that, and if it had a weed killer in there, obviously your seeds will not germinate. So I use this container here strictly for water, and it's usually for when I'm starting my seeds. So the pump sprayer works good. The seed starting mix is already wet from using the water can, and all this does is wet the seed, and it'll make the seed stick to our seed starting mix. And I like to water them in really good. In my opinion, I don't think you can overwater. Of course, unless you're pulling the water in here, but I don't think you can overwater on the first day that you're starting your seeds. All right. So our seeds should be stuck pretty good. Next, I'll just take a little bit of the seed starting mix and I'll just sprinkle it on top. With Vinca seed, you don't really need to do this. I like to do it with all of my seeds. I don't put a lot on top. Just a thin coat. A little light layer on there. Junk. And then I'll go back over the pump sprayer. Any kind of dirt we get on the side, we can wash it in there. Pump sprayer. Okay, so these three are ready to go in the dining room, into the growing area on the shelves that we put up. and I'll finish planting these Vinca Cascade in the other 4 trays I have. Today I'm also going to do the Petunia, because they're 10 weeks for the sow time, and I'm going to do the geraniums. I'm going to do the Rebecca for today. I'm also going to do this Vinca Tattoo Blueberry, which is a mounding type Vinca. This Vinca is not the cascading type of plant. So a little bit of work to do. I'll do all this and I'll come back and show you all my trays placed and set up on the shelving in the grow area in the dining room. There you have it. The first group of seedlings are planted. They're on the shelves under the lights. So now we wait for the seeds to germinate. Most of these will take 2 to 3 weeks to germinate, particularly the Vincas. So we're on our way. Thanks for watching. I hope you subscribe. Please subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. It helps me out. And I'll see you in the next one.